Hey everyone, my name is Lima. I'm the founder of Aura, a digital health startup with the mission of making mental health better. So before I get into it, I do have a disclaimer. Any of the opinions expressed in this video are entirely my own and do not reflect the brand, the team, or Aura as a company. I'm speaking strictly on my behalf. All I'm gonna do is share a story of why this is such an important topic for me. As you guys may know, last July I did a video with DissociaDID. Previous to this video, we'd had several conversations about my family situation, and I originally discovered her content because of some of the things that I was going through with my family. So the biggest problem with mental health is that a lot of people don't feel comfortable to talk about it. A lot of times they don't want other people to know about their disorders, even their families. And so that's basically what happened in my family. In the video I did with DissociaDID, a lot of people had questions of why I had random clips of my sisters, Dahlia and Dia, in the video while we were talking. And the way that I cut that video was because I initially wanted to meet DissociaDID because of my sisters, but I also didn't want to publicize specifically what was going on with them when they weren't ready. Growing up, our father was very abusive to my sisters and I, and due to ongoing severe childhood trauma, my sisters developed Dissociative Identity Disorder, or DID. It was a huge step for them both to seek out help or treatment from a mental health professional because they didn't know what was going on with them. But because of the stigma, they also kept it a secret from myself and my mom. Once they were properly diagnosed and we had finally figured out what was going on, it was a huge challenge for me to even begin to understand how to even talk to them, how to address them, how to respond to certain things that are happening. Aside from the struggles that my sisters were going through, I also wanted to find a way to help. And the biggest way that I could help was to first understand. I discovered DissociaDID's videos. Not only were they super educational and very helpful to the situation, but Chloe and I would constantly communicate back and forth, and she would be giving me specific advice on specific situations. And so there's nobody that I could be more grateful to. I've also had the opportunity to meet and interact with Kyle and one of the littles. And it's been such a blessing to have somebody walk me through this entire thing as an outsider learning how to deal with it. Aside from the obvious stigmas that come with mental illness and how challenging it is to even seek help or not be embarrassed to talk about it, and that's a really big reason why my family has never really addressed it or we haven't talked about it publicly, is mostly because of the stigma and my sisters were not ready. Previous to all of the videos that Trisha Paytas had made and the attacks on the DID community that followed from that, my sisters were talking about getting back into YouTube. Before my sister's mental health condition got out of hand, they had a very successful YouTube channel. They had been sought after from YouTube and put in the Next Up program and had won several awards for their content. Their career seemed like it was on the up and up, and then suddenly they could no longer maintain what was going on in their mental health. One of the biggest challenges for our family has been the complete lack of understanding when it comes to DID. There was an incident where I had to travel for a friend's wedding, and I got a phone call from my sister who sounded very dissociated. She could barely put a sentence together. She said that she was really scared that both of my sisters were together and that they didn't know what was going on, but they couldn't stop having seizures. They asked me to please not call the ambulance because they were really afraid and they didn't want anyone going there, but if I could please video call them and record it for their doctor. What they were experiencing are called pseudo-seizures. Although the name pseudo incentivizes that they're false, they're just as real as epileptic seizures. Pseudo-seizures are caused by severe mental stress, and they are entirely psychologically driven. So throughout this day, I would go into the room, watch my sisters have these seizures and be crying about it in the room, and then walk out, put a smile on my face, say hello to everybody, go back into the room and try to calm them down, and we were all kind of panicking. My mom was on the call and she didn't know what to do either, and she was videoing and just watching them and overseeing the entire experience. And after 8 hours of watching my sisters go through this, I had finally convinced them to please let me call the ambulance. And so they finally agreed. So I called 911, and they were able to access the building. They were able to get in, and I felt so much relief until I got a phone call from the police officer who believed that my sisters were faking having DID and that DID was not a real thing. And it took me 2 hours to convince the officers not to arrest them. Living with DID is really hard, and it makes it even more difficult when people think it's not a real thing. It's really scary to experience the things that come along with mental illness. Sometimes it can even feel like your body's haunted. It's even more terrifying when you feel like no one will help you or no one can help you, or when you do take those big steps towards seeking professional help or calling 911 to get assistance, and you get shut down because they think that it's not a real thing, or they think that or they threaten to arrest you because you reached out for help, but they think that you're faking it. So if you believe that you have DID, or if you're struggling with any mental illness, anybody that's out there, I really, really encourage you, for the sake of the entire community, to go out, seek professional help, and don't put out misinformation before you really grasp an understanding of it. It's easy for anybody to put up a video just like I'm doing right now, but the consequences of that video can be astronomical. So please be careful what you put out, and please be careful with what you say. And please think twice about how you treat each other. The dangers of spreading misinformation about mental illness only adds to the stigma and discrimination. I think I speak for the entire DID community when I say that we just want to better one another. I hope to see more channels like DissociaDID continue to produce educational content and empower the rest of the community. Thanks so much for watching this video and supporting my content. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. If you have anything to add or disagree with anything that I said, please leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. In an effort to support DissociaDID and thank them for all of the content that they've made that's helped so many people and so many families, including my own, we are doing a giveaway of DissociaDID's merch for you and a friend. To enter, you must be following @DissociaDID on Instagram and leave them a positive comment on their last post. Then come to my Instagram @LimaFromAura, let me know that you did that. Tag the friend that you want to enter the contest with you and the countries that you both are from. And if you win, we'll send you and a friend DissociaDID gear. You don't have to have DID to support the DID community. Let's make sure that all of our interactions online are positive, because you never know what mental stresses somebody's dealing with. And you don't want that negative interaction online with you to be the last interaction that person ever has. Be mindful and spread love.